Good morning, zookeepers, and welcome back to Planet Zoo. Today I'm making an enclosure for the Borneo orangutans, and as you can see, I make it pretty nice and simple. I stick to the grid and keep it very square in shape. Now, I have been enjoying making them where they're not so square, but I also like making square enclosures. It makes them easier to place down, especially when you're making new zoos. And like I said, I've been saving some of these and putting them on the workshop. This is definitely one of them. But I had a lot of fun making this. I made it slightly simple and then went a little bit extra on the inside of the building towards the end of the video. Now, my idea behind it was ever so slightly inspired by the Blackpool Zoo enclosure for the gorillas and orangutans. The only difference is I didn't make it so it had like a moat haha barrier. I kept it right up to the glass, so I've seen a few like different enclosure designs where you can go, like the orangutans can go right up to the glass, and I really like that idea, so that's what I decided to do for the outdoors rather than making a haha barrier. And then I just sort of gave it my own theming. Right now I've been absolutely loving like the Australian pack and the different woods that you can get in there. I really do love the style of it. It stands out loads, and I feel like it kind of goes well with what I was making. Obviously this is going to be slightly jungly. I decided this time I wasn't going to absolutely overload it with trees. I was going to keep it simple in the terms of vegetation, mainly because sometimes I go a little bit too far with placing plants, and you kind of lose the creatures in it, and you only get certain points where you can see it. Whereas I kind of wanted my orangutan to be on show a fair bit, and I don't have to go searching through the foliage when making this enclosure. So I kept it pretty bare bones in regards of plants and only placing them here and there. As you can see right now, I'm making the climbing frame for them. Usually a lot of time I will just use the ready-made ones and add things to it, but I decided I want to kind of make my own, even do steps up to like the different platforms for them, and it's fun watching them actually use those steps. They almost kind of like the animation goes kind of like it's a ramp sort of look, but nevertheless it was cool when I discovered they actually used the steps. I was only sort of putting them in there as like a bit of a design feature, half expecting them just to use the log on the side, but it kind of looked like they walked up it, which was really cool and really took me by surprise. Added a few bits of enrichment here and there, and I decided to somewhat make like a custom climbing frame around the food. My idea I wanted was like the slight backdrop behind it, so again it broke up some lines of sights and probably made the orangutan feel like they weren't being glared at all that often. So I thought it'd be just so interesting. Again, I'm using the Aussie wood, which I absolutely love the look of, and I feel like it kind of just added a little bit of feature to this already made like climbable platform for them, and it sort of like adds to the food area. Anyways, we're going on to the inside of the building where we're going to try and make it so there is a staff area and it separates the orangutans from the staff. Now, I do like in a lot of the indoor closures is the two-way barriers, in the sense of, also two-way doors. So you close one set of door and then the staff can get into the outside or the inside depending where they've closed them off. So that's the kind of feel I was going for. I was using these ready-made chain link fences, but it turned out to be a little bit of a nightmare for me in the sense of getting the right shape. So as you can see, I'm messing around here, and then I sort of come up with my own solution using the metal bars to fill in the gaps, and I feel like it kind of added like a really cool, very secure look and definitely fit in with the rest of the build. So as you can see, like I said, I was just pushing up against the wall to fit that gap, and it really looked quite nice. So I do a lot of bit of moving about and trying to get this right, so I do cut out bits of this so it's not too much, but you got the idea what I was doing there, trying to make it even on both sides. And this bit I'm making right now is the closable gate, and this is going to be on either side of those staff doors depending where you are closing it, so it opens up all the different sections. Originally I was going to like split the bedding area into two, and that's the reason why we've got two doors, but in the end I decided against that because I thought it kind of like took up too much room, and these spaces felt like way too small when I did it. So like I said, I decided against it and just had one big open space. We've still got two different doors that they can choose to go in and out of. Added different bits of enrichment inside their indoor housing area, because if they were locked in there whilst they're cleaning or doing maintenance on the outdoor area, there wouldn't be too much fun to do. I quickly make like a little staff table and add a few different items on there, and I love making these little things, like little bits of extras. I didn't go too crazy in the staff area. I know I could have and added tons of different things, but then I wanted it not too like crazy, but I took away from it a bit, but still nice enough that I really enjoyed looking at it, and I hope you guys enjoyed looking at it as well. But yeah, it's like sometimes I feel like I can go way too far, and I was already about an hour and a half into the build, and it'd already taken quite a while for me just messing around looking for different items. As you can see right now, I was really in love with the Australian bits, and adding a fair bit to it. So I feel like even though it's Australia sort of theming, it kind of looks kind of nice with the orangutans. So yeah, that's why I did that. Anyways, as you can see right now, I'm placing down a few rocks and extra plants. I kind of get rid of some of the wooden barrier because I quite like the idea that some of it is rocky and then it's just wooden bits at the front to keep in. That's the forage box. And then I just added a few rocks here and there, but not too many of them. And like I said, I added a fair bit of plant, but not too much that it felt completely like cramped. I wanted a fair bit of open space for the orangutans to move around and it to be easier to see them. And I feel like sometimes it's nice, like less is more, less is more. I really do like those fern plants as well, and attaching those to the poles. They look really cool and add like a very interesting look to it. Add a bit of grass, and then I go around using the bark from the jungle setting to like cover up, like, well, not cover up, to add to the dried leaves. But anyways, I really enjoyed making it. I've called it the Great Ape House, I believe, on Workshop. If I remember, I'll put a link to the workshop if you fancy adding this to your zoos and possibly improving it in whatever way you'd like to. But anyways, thank you for watching. I'll leave you with these few clips of the orangutans going around the enclosure. Until next time, I'll see you later.